Want to thank Comcast for our sponsor of the month, Comcast Business Class. They are part of Local Business Network. We have a lot of their people in our groups, and they have sponsored a lot of the things that we have going on. We appreciate Comcast. Well, we are back. Networking Squared. I am Jerry O. Always have been. Mr. Al Crawford over there. You have always been Mr. Al Crawford. And you are such a Facebook information kind of guy. I really think we need to get Kathy's information out there if they have questions. And not only about themselves, but maybe their parents. And they're going, I want to make sure mom and dad are taken care of. Because sometimes, I mean, this stuff's confusing for us. Can you imagine what it's like for an 80-year-old?
And we see it. We see it all the time. And the stuff that we've been exposed to, we've seen the realities of it. The people that don't plan ahead, that don't make the arrangements. And what's happening in a lot of situations is it's the kids that are the ones that are being stuck with, I don't mean stuck with the parents, but stuck with the burden of
the issues. Yeah, they've got to deal with these issues.
And so I think that what happens is, like, people my age, they need to be making sure that their parents are prepared, because this is going to be something that's going to happen. That's happening.
And you have to do it.
You have to do this stuff. And you may as well, talk to an expert and make sure that you make the right decisions and make sure you get the coverages that you need to have so that you are well prepared. They work their whole lives, and it's not something that you want to just give it all away at the end.
And for us, we are going to need to know how all of this works as we get to that age, and I really want to be prepared for this. So it's Apex Elite, and we've got Kathy Stein-Hazeldine, and the number, we've got a 1-800 number, and you can get a hold of her office, 1-800-318-1900, and you can set up an appointment just to ask for Kathy Stein-Hazeldine at 1-800-318-1900.
And we've also, she does have a fan page on Facebook. You can look for Apex Elite and become a fan of Kathy, and you'll be able to get a lot more information about what she offers and the things that she can do. We will actually have that featured also on our fan page, so you can go to our Networking Squared page and you can pick up the Apex Elite fan page as well.
Okay, so Kathy, tell me, you're teaching, and you're teaching Al and myself in the studio. I mean, a studio audience, yes. So all of the people in the studio audience. Yeah. We have free gifts for everybody in the studio.
We're doing the
today.
wave right now.
Yes. And for the listening audience, what kind of questions, when you're sitting down, are the seniors asking you?
Well, mostly they ask very specific questions about the details of what I go over, and we don't have time in this segment to do all the details of what I talk about. And things that they say they need to think about it, which I get that, and they say they'd like to talk about it to a son or daughter, and I'm more than happy to talk to the son or daughter with them.
Okay, so you're sitting down and you're offering supplemental type insurance that they will need above and beyond what Medicaid or Medicare is not going to cover.
Well, if a person qualifies for Medicaid, they really don't need the supplement because it picks up everything.
And that's the low income.
Yes.
So it's Medicare only. That the stuff that you offer is for Medicare only. Then it's a supplement for Medicare.
Yes.
Okay.
Because when we're young, we have group health plans a lot of times from work, and there's a cap to what the out-of-pocket expenses can be for hospitalizations. With Medicare, it goes 20% to the sky, and that can be a huge amount of money.
Okay, and I think that what we're seeing with a lot of people that as they're retiring, as their pensions are getting cut into, a lot of the coverages that they thought they were going to have are being taken away. And I think it's something where people probably weren't even aware that they needed these types of things. And so it's a great opportunity they have to be able to speak to somebody like you to be able to learn what their options are. So if somebody's going to contact you, what is the service area that you really work in?
I can go to the entire state of Michigan.
Okay, but where do you prefer to stay? Is it the Tri-County area?
I'd prefer to stay Metro Detroit.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Where I can come home at night from.
Sure.
From.
All right, so you'll cover a pretty large area.
Oh yes.
Now, what about like a group? I mean, if it's something where if like a group of seniors wanted to get together, and so you would add a facility that you could actually go in and do it, like a chamber of commerce or something like that.
You know, I think about like down at like a veterans hall or something where you could actually, I mean, most of those people are veterans and seniors, and that would be very informational for them to get that. We had talked about Medicare Part A and Part B, and I really get confused on that, although not anymore because I've got it down. So with Part A, that's for the hospital stays, correct?
Correct.
And there's no charge for that? The government takes care of all of that?
Yes.
All right.
They take care of 80% of the approved Medicare charges. And now, in the last couple of years, Medicare's made a cut, about 20% on the approved Medicare charges. So doctors have had an option to write off the rest, which sometimes is almost half of what they were billing.
Wow.
With, by the time you do the math. And they can charge an excess charge, which can be 15% over and above what Medicare approves.
And so the supplements that you offer, so are there tools that you then have that can cover those shortages?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So that you were actually wrong about that, Jerry. So there is liabilities that they can have.
Okay, now and I am here to be wrong. That's my job. So Part B, when we talked about Part B, and they charge the seniors $96 a month for Part B,
yes.
And that comes right out of the Social Security check.
Right.
What does Part B cover?
That is for outpatient visits, for when they go to the doctor when they have a sinus infection or something that the doctor can write a script out for or whatever, where they don't need to be seen overnight. Or sometimes for surgeries that don't require an overnight stay, that goes under Part B.
So you have some of the stuff which is the government is taking care of, and your job is to make sure that there is no gap in there. So
right.
The seniors then are completely taken care of. The government will cover so much, which is always changing, isn't it?
Right.
And it's going to be, as if you're paying attention to what's going on in the news with the Obama and the health care and with this budget stuff going on, Medicare is one of the big things that they're cutting. There's a lot of cuts going to go on in there. So,
well, with what Obama's doing, there are cuts, but there are also advantages too. With Part D, like dog, that's the prescription coverage. Mm-hmm. He's taken what we call the donut hole and cut it from where the seniors are responsible for 95% of their prescriptions after they hit a certain amount of prescription usage. And for 2011, if they hit that donut hole, they get a 50% discount.
Okay. So it's 90. So even in this situation, they have to pay for 50% of their own prescription?
If they get into what we call a donut hole.
Okay. Now, are there supplements that you offer that can cover that amount?
No, we don't work with the prescription coverage.
Okay.
But we do have a discount program. It's not insurance, but yes, they can help with that.
Okay. So if somebody has been receiving Medicare for a while and suddenly they get a cut in their coverage, then really the stuff that you offer can be that replacement. And really the point of it is to avoid people getting these big hits on a monthly basis when they're going to the doctor or going to the hospital, right. So that it's going to be a monthly premium that they're paying that they can budget for in their fixed income. That's not going to be a big hit to their income.
Right.
Okay, that's good. So I'm learning a lot here, Jerry.
Well, we're protecting, and basically what you are doing is protecting, and you're also going to ensure that they have coverage where Medicare stops, right?
Right.
Okay, so I'm just trying to grasp that.
Now, is there an age? Is there an end as far as how old somebody can be to be on Medicare?
I don't believe so.
Now, what about through your company and your coverages? Is there an age on that?
Not for the Medicare supplements. For the final expense life plans, we only go up to age 85.
85?
And one of the things that I've learned recently is that with hospice, I had always thought that hospice was like the couple of days before you die. And the reality is that hospice is really a quality of life thing that can go on for a couple of years. And so it's something where I have a totally different view of what hospice represents. And so is that something that you want to talk about at all with hospice?
Yes, the newer supplements that came out in June 1st, 2010, they now have hospice benefits. So if anyone got a Medicare supplement plan before May 31st, 2010, that hospice benefit is not there.
Okay. Right. So, but for going forward, it's going to be?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And
that's one of the biggest change that Medicare made in 20 years.
Wow. And again, I've been really amazed at what happens. I mean, there is a lot that hospice offers. So I think that if somebody has an elderly person in their lives that is in a lot of pain, it's not something that it's just about that person dying. It's about quality of life for the remaining time that they have.
All right, well, we'll talk about this quality of life on the other side of the break. We have Kathy Stein-Hazeldine from Apex Elite, 1-800-318-1900. We are Networking Squared. We'll be right back.